Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Yeah, it's pretty much the best. Not that it's any different down here. It's not like it's any more convenient than plugging it in.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for this week's episode of the Massenomics podcast. I am Tyler. I am joined by Tommy.
What's up?
And Tanner.
Hello.
We're here the post-Halloween Bender episode. I made Halloween happen. Tommy, did you?
I did a little Halloweening.
And Tanner, did you?
I did it up big.
Tell me about your old man Halloween, Tanner.
Well, I went out. Good costume, actually. It took me a while to put this together. I went out as someone sleeping in bed. As someone getting a good night's rest in bed.
You sold it so hard by not even going out in that costume.
So it's this costume's so good, I'm just going to roll all the way with it and play it, see it to the end.
Yeah.
But what I did was... What did I...
We're going back almost 24 hours
I
here.
was probably in bed by 10, I think. I'm just trying to think of what show I was watching. I think I was watching The Office, and then I went to bed.
I desperately wish that I would have gone to bed at 10 o'clock last night.
I'm pretty sure that's about
I'd feel more refreshed right now if I did that.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was it got crazy, though. I mean, I know I'm making it sound like it wasn't that wild, but, it got about as crazy as going to bed can be.
Tommy, what was your costume?
I went just as your stereotypical tourist. So I had the your Hawaiian shirt and your khaki shorts and your white dad shoes. And
Did you get those shoes new?
I did. So here's the thing about those shoes. Those things do not do shoe technology has come a long ways since they made those shoes 20 years ago. And
now, which shoes specifically?
Okay, so if you go to Walmart and you go down just the shoe aisle, they have these things hanging by strings.
Oh, yeah.
And they're $10 even.
That was only $10.
They're only $10. Yeah, it's crazy. And they're all white. And if you want one with a logo on it, it's the same shoe from what I can tell, but it has a logo. But you pay an extra $7 for the logo, and I'm not dropping 17 on these things.
Yeah.
I want that all clean, non-branded look. So
White on white on white.
that's right.
So were they comfortable?
Absolutely not. Actually, looking at them, they're almost perfectly straight. I think you could maybe wear them on either foot. There's no really. They're pretty symmetrical. Yeah. There's not really an arch to it. There's not really anything that mimics the shape of a foot in any way.
Which is an odd trait for a shoe to have. Let's make these shoes, but let's just not cater them to the human foot.
Yeah.
So it's not that everyone else is just way overpricing. They actually did do less to make this $10 shoe.
Yeah. On the plus, if I had to make a list of pluses, they're incredibly light. But I also think that's a con because I'm assuming they will fall apart in no time. But they have the white sole. The upper it's supposed to be white, but it has kind of a yellow tint to it. I don't know if that's poor manufacturing or
it's just
because I can't imagine that was intentional.
Yeah. It's the lead oxidizing out of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know about the Starberry basketball shoe?
Oh yeah,
Stephon Marbury, when he produced the basketball shoe, and I wish I knew what the price was that he sold them for.
I think they're around 30 or 40.
Yeah, probably.
Weren't they?
I would guess $35.
Yeah,
but that was his deal. Is he
wanted
to make it affordable
make shoes for poor kids.
Yeah.
Which is I think it's a noble thing, but I do think a huge part of the shoe game is just the fact that it's expensive, makes it rarer and tougher to get, or makes people want it more. I mean, it's like with anything. You put a price on it, and people think it's more valuable.
The more expensive the shoe, the like higher the perceived value is.
Yeah.
More people want it. The fact of the matter is, I bet more poor people spend $180 on the new LeBrons
Or
new
Jordans,
than anybody bought the Starburys for 30.
Yeah, because with the Starberry, I saw where they did some actual analytics on it, and like they took a comparable Nike and they like literally cut them in half to see what like from a material standpoint and construction, and they were really, really, really similar. I don't know, there was some differences, but like they were mostly similar. But those ones you're talking about probably wouldn't be. Like, if you cut those, like, they probably are sacrificing.
I do think there's
in order to get the price to $10.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that includes, like, wherever they got made, like, getting them shipped and, like, getting them set on the rack in the store. Like,
well, I don't even know if that part really matters that much, because I think, if I remember right, Nike's, like, one of their number one selling shoes is Air Force Ones. And I do believe, I thought I saw a report, like, Air Force Ones get made in China. It costs Nike like $1.75 or something. They retail for like $110.
Yeah,
it's like that's what you get. But welcome to capitalism.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm looking at the list of the top 10 most hated on signature sneakers of all time.
What's the number one?
I don't know. It's fucking basement internet.
Yeah,
it's probably a Nike Air Monarch signature.
I think I think it's the Starbury.
Is that the Star? Oh,
that's a Jordan.
That's
It's like
Jordan.
I'm not up.
Have you guys ever had a pair of Jordans?
Oh yeah.
I actually, I think I've only maybe had one when I played basketball in high school.
Actually, I had when I was overseas. You can buy like any Jordan you want. They're knockoff Jordans.
Oh yeah.
So you can buy them for like $30, $40.
Yeah.
And I had a few different pair, and I wore them for like City League basketball. And they like, there you go. What Jordan year is that one right there?
That's a 15.
1999.
Yeah. So like, what number Jordan is
That's
that?
the 15 right there.
So I had like the 12 or the 11.
Yeah, the 11s. There's probably people listening that really know this. I'm pretty sure the 11s are the Space Jam ones that had the patent leather on them.
Yeah. Yes.
Damn, look at these. The fuck.
But you know which ones I really like? The Nike ones. Scottie Pippen wore them for
The
at least the
Air
Air
up-tempos?
and they're hard to find too. And the Air up tempo is
they've
very
been starting to put more of those out again. And like Bradley Martin always has them on. Like he'll be lifting in videos.
Oh, he wears.
He wears them quite a bit.
And those are awesome. I really like the black ones with the white outline.
Yeah, the black and white, the red, like all the colors are cool. And those that's just like an in-your-face shoe.
Yeah, it's super cool.
But there's actually
here's the Starbury one.
And that looks contemporary for the equivalent shoes of
that time.
Yeah, like of 2006. That looks like a 2006.
Yeah,
they were $15 sneakers.
Dang,
that's crazy.
Regardless of what they were not cut from the same cloth as their competitors. Regardless of what Marbury told people.
Maybe I was wrong.
Favorable reviews from Consumer Reports.
They were only available at Steve & Barry's stores. And once they went out of business, that was it.
It didn't serve well for the shoe probably then.
But the man is trying to bring the shoes back and blaming Michael Jordan and Nike for a bunch of ridiculous stuff. Favorable reviews from Consumer Reports. The leather just looks so cheap. The Starbury 2 would be a fine, casual, everyday shoe. Interesting. Whoa,
those shoes
Kobe
right there.
2s
Kevin,
are fucking ugly.
Kevin Hagen has those shoes.
The Kobe 2.
He has those in all silver. Like they're all silver.
Really?
They look like when they're on your feet, they look like 2 liter, like just 2 liter bottles of soda that someone strapped to your feet.
That looks like the. Remember the movie Minority Report?
Yeah,
It looks like the cars from Minority Report.
Kind of just ambiguous, not really any shape.
Let's not
to it.
have any actual features.
That's like what the future looks like in people's head, but we never actually get to
That's
that
the
point.
future.
That's the future that never actually comes.
Yeah.
You know?
I also liked these ones, the Steph Currys. These are the number one most hated
Oh,
ones.
Yeah,
you were-
because
those
everyone
were-
thought
that's
they were.
recent,
Yeah, because
everyone.
everyone thought they were dad shoes.
look
which
like dad
They
shoes.
totally.
do.
I mean, they are just like a more updated.
But didn't he fold on those pretty quickly then? Like
Yeah,
he
they
quit
went
wearing
to
them?
something else
Yeah.
real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're like,
What are those?
when you have
not a thing.
the budget of Under Armour, I don't think you can be affording to take
Yeah.
hits like having your one of your number one endorsements.
Was that Shaq's Dunkman shoe you went to? Yeah. Because he sold that in like Walmart or something.
Yeah,
Still
they're
does.
still there.
They're
Yeah,
still in Payless.
I saw him yesterday when I was walking through
Shopko
there.
has them at
Do they?
Payless, yeah, and I think Walmart has them.
But Shaq had a couple of really sick Reebok ones that they
He
made
did,
for him.
yeah.
so-
Before was it the
Shaqnosis.
hypnotize? Yeah, Shaqnosis. Yeah,
He did everything with Reebok, and then now it's his own shoe line
Okay.
that has been active now for 13 years.
So because we're talking about shoes and looking at Complex, did you guys know that? So Complex is a fairly large media. They offer a lot of media coverage to hip hop and all that culture and everything. They have a very extensive series on YouTube where they go shoe shopping, sneaker shopping with famous people, celebrities. And one day, this was a few months ago, we were bored and probably watched well over 50 people shop for shoes. Like it went way too long. We just kept going and going. But there's a few pretty amazing themes that you see in this show is that, one, almost everyone is just so obsessed with Jordans. There's a few people that will take the stand of everyone likes Jordans, so they're not cool, which I can kind of actually get behind a little bit at this point because I feel like all that brand does is just, oh, we did this once, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it. And, but it's pretty awesome to watch because everyone, kind of has their story about buying shoes. But then when it goes to paying for them, everyone whips out a bag with just stacks of cash. I've only seen one person pay
Put it
with a
on a
credit
card.
card. Yeah. And,
But that's just not.
they
What's the point
throw a
of carrying
duffel
around
bag
that
on the
much
counter.
cash?
Yeah, it just seems like I'd be paranoid, but I guess that's your thing. Another thing that blew my mind is I watched the Allen Iverson one, and Allen Iverson bought his own shoes on that show, which I just assumed he would have
He would have maybe some sort of back channel.
Allen Iverson went into money problems at least once. So
I actually would be willing to bet that while they are called the Allen Iverson shoe, that he probably has zero stake left in it anymore.
Probably not.
I
yeah.
bet
That,
he does
probably
not,
couldn't
yeah.
even get a deal on.
I know he's had a lot of problems where he's I don't know if he officially had declared bankruptcy at one point or not, but he's all but there if not.
I don't know if we talked about this before, but I did some looking. Speaking of people going broke, I did some looking at. I just got to thinking. I was like, I wonder if Master P is broke.
I don't think he is he?
Master P is still really rich. But
Yeah.
when I looked it up, it was an article about his divorce that was maybe a year ago. And they were basically saying that just his real estate companies alone are still worth $350 million.
Yeah. I didn't know he was still a thing.
He bought gold tanks.
You
know what I mean?
To make him say, music video?
I'm like, Master P, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
I feel
he
this
had
is not
like
financially
gold-plated Hummers.
He must have made enough of the right decisions though, along with some crazy ones.
Maybe he'd his gold toilet seats were leased or something. It wasn't on the hook for him forever. But yeah, it was fucking crazy. He had didn't he have what do you call it? Like gold flake on the ceilings and shit in his house.
Probably.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
You guys have both seen that 30 for 30, I'm guessing. Broke.
Broke?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one.
dude.
No.
You got to see that.
I think that's the best one.
Really?
It's exactly what we're talking about now, and the crazy things that people some of these
Spend their
guys
money
did.
on.
Yeah, and the fortunes that they lost.
Well, with just the idea that the money's going to be there forever or keep coming in.
So many of them didn't understand that the way it works is you'll get a check.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially contractors. So if you get $10 million, say a signing bonus, right? You're going to get written a check for $10 million. You're going to owe your agent 10%. So there goes, now you're down to 9. You're going to owe taxes on about,
so you probably got 40%,
at least half
Yeah.
probably of that, not depending on the state you live in. And so what happens is these guys will get $10 million and they'll buy a $3 million house. And then they'll fucking buy $2 million worth of cars and then just start putting people on their payroll.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they don't understand they only made $3.5 million actually. And they got to pay taxes. And how many of them actually in an NFL locker room are asking to borrow money before they can get their next game check? Or they said how desperate it gets in training camp. These guys that got to make sure they make the team because they got notes due.
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy.
Really
crazy.
Buying their moms a house and their self a house and a baby mama house and they're not buying the houses outright. They have mortgages on all of these houses. So when they
they're
stop
still blowing
making
through all the cash.
when they stop when they're out of the league in 5 years or 10 years and stuff,
Or 3.
yeah, they still have all these obligations
Yeah.
and no way to make any money anymore.
Yeah.
And they have like $10,000 a month of mortgage payments to make. You know?
Or there was that stuff of what's his name, Antonio, the guy from the Celtics. Shit, what was his name? Shooter.
Yeah, number 8.
Just a shooter. Just shot.
He's up there for like losing the most.
He invested like $10 million.
Paul Pierce's counterpart at that point in time.
In some like
Walker.
Antonio Walker.
Yeah.
And he in some real estate thing where like they were gonna make these apartments back in his old projects that he came from, and he hired some of his old cronies to run it, and it was just like a fucking nightmare. And it was they were like getting sued. The building was built terribly, and like living conditions were horrible, and that was like a $10 or $15 million wash. And then he also still lived kind of like an idiot. He got robbed.
Antoine Walker.
Yes, yeah. He played for the Heat for a while too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He bounced around for a bit. He got
Hawks.
robbed one time because he got robbed with like, what did he have? He had like $250,000 worth of jewelry and like $350,000 worth of cash on his lap while he was driving. And someone, they cut him off and fucking jacked him right out of his car and took $750,000 worth of stuff that he had on his lap. Now, if you have it on your lap, you were fucking flashing it around, because it could.
Why else do you have it?
Why wouldn't it be in the passenger seat?
Like,
you know what I mean?
under lock and key, and
or like in a backpack.
Yeah, if I'm going to transport $250,000, it's probably going to be like I'm going to hire a convoy of people to
but it's just like
I'm
such
going
a
to transport it on my dash.
Yeah, right.
So everybody knows.
But yeah, I was just such like a different, just completely thought process and lifestyle. Because like even the idea of like if I had like $10,000 cash on me, I would be so paranoid until I knew that was like locked
in the bank,
locked
like
away in the bank. I wouldn't
obligation.
even feel safe with that locked away in my house anywhere. Someone will drive a car into the side of your house and it'll blow up and there's all your cash gone.
There is if just in case this ever happens to anyone though, if your money ever gets mutilated, like blown up, exploded, burned, there's an government agency that you send it, the remnants of it, that you send it to, and they use forensics to determine the best of their ability what money you actually had there, and the Fed will
reimburse you because that money is out of circulation.
Right,
at that point.
Exactly. So because that happened, that stuff like that happens, or like moisture, or like someone's grandpa buries it behind the wall.
Because you always hear that, like people stash
it gets
it in the
all
wall.
wet and ruined and stuff, and you can actually get that money back.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, just in case
So
you come across
if I ever do a remodeling project in my house and pull a floorboard up and there's moldy,
and you're
wet
like, well,
paper.
shit, this is ruined, but there's like $100 bills here. You actually can probably get that back.
God, all I ever found when I snooped around my old houses was like crusty old nudie magazines.
Well, that's still a win. They said another thing with those superstars, what they'd get into for some reason, a very common business that their friends would get them to invest in is car washes.
Really?
So like a really common theme with all these guys that went broke is that a lot of them were invested in several car washes because their friend, like, it's all their...
It's
so many of their that was just weird.
Do you think Ross's goal is for Massenomics to make it big so he can get us to invest in a detailing and body?
We one of the craziest stories though on that was the guy, he had gotten injured, and that was the deal. In the NFL, players have it the worst because their money's not guaranteed. So if you get hurt, you may have already got your last check, and so they go in and they cut him. They fucking cut him a check for, I want to say it was like $90,000, like was the last of it, like that was it, and they send him out the door. He still would have had to pay his agent and taxes and all that stuff, and he was driving home knowing his career was over and that he was never going to play again. And what he did was drove by the Chevy dealership, and the H2 Hummers had just come out back then. So he went in.
Tanner, you know the appeal of an H2 Hummer.
He had the
H3.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you just had to dream about it.
He went in, he bought the H2, and then went and paid the rest of his child support to get him caught up for the rest of that year, and then he was out of money. It's like, you spent your last penny with nothing else coming in on a Hummer?
Yeah.
you drove in a car that you already had. Also,
Trust us, those are not going to be popular in 10 years. They will be
only we
giving those
could've
away.
told
I saw this bit that was kind of funny when they stopped making those. I don't know. I don't think they're super douchey, but that there was somebody said they were going to stop making the H2 Hummer, and then they were like, so now I guess people are just going to have to go door to door to let people know that they're assholes.
Well, the best is that South Park
Yeah,
episode
I was
where
gonna say.
what when hiding, or what are they hiding? Something's missing, or
Oh yeah, there was
Star Wars is related to that, isn't it? Or like,
they were trying to keep something hidden.
yeah, but something like
so
being
they
hidden.
hid it at the
Yeah.
Hummer
Yeah,
dealer.
they
'cause
hid it at the
nobody-
one place no one would ever go.
Yeah.
A Hummer
and there's
dealership.
like a sleazy salesman there, like trying to
Hey
wave
everybody,
people
we got
in.
some sweet deals over here. I thought of this as we were talking about the what's Antoine Walker's cash. I remembered hearing this story, but this was from Pablo Escobar's accountant. He lost.
What team did he play for?
I don't know. All of them. 10% of the money that they earned, all their money was cash. So 10% of the money that they brought in, they basically were writing off as a loss because mice were eating it.
Because there's so
There was
much,
so
like
much of it just
stacks of
stored
money.
in fucking garages, just cash. And they said that amounts to approximately $2.1 billion a year in
Eaten by
eaten by critters.
Because there's so much.
Yeah,
like
he said
money,
they said he literally had way more cash than he ever knew what to do with. So haphazardly losing money to rodents and mold just wasn't an issue.
Which is funny too, because I've worked at a bank and I've been inside a bank vault, which is not at all what you expect a bank vault is.
The money's only stacked 10 feet tall instead of 20.
Right, you expect there to be like stacks of money.
Yeah.
But a bank vault, like, is
It's like a briefcase of money.
Yeah.
Is it like dodgeball where they open up the briefcase?
Yeah,
and
it's
you've probably
like
never seen, but
$10 million.
like, oh, all there in the case.
so for there to actually be so much money that it would be stacked like that,
like storage concerns.
yeah, storage concerns of money, like, because you could probably have several $1 million in cash and still be able to figure out a spot in your home to keep it very safe and climate controlled and away from moisture and away from animals and stuff.
They said here also, the Escobar accountant said that the cartel spent an average of $2,500 a month on rubber bands that were needed to hold stacks of money together.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Smuggled 15 tons of cocaine into the United States every single day.
How many?
15 tons.
15 tons a day.
That is fucking banana. Like, are they building houses out of it?
Yeah.
Like, that's all getting like. Are we shipping? Are we importing that much fucking like
Oil?
avocados?
Does that break down to each person doing a ton themselves?
Did every American do 1 kilo of coke?
that would be like not quite a semi that they would normally fill with
Yes.
grain
Yeah.
would not quite be a plum full
Really?
semi load
Full of
a day.
cocaine
So
every
maybe
day.
that's how they were doing it. They were just driving one truck across the border.
They probably just what they did
Load
is
it up,
they
take
probably just and if that one gets caught, we just send another one along tomorrow, and we
There
it's a
will be
numbers
more.
game.
There was something I was thinking about too. I don't think we've talked about it on here as long as we're talking about money and cost and stuff. I know we've all talked about it amongst ourselves, but Titan Fitness, I've seen more and more of them
Boy, do I
selling
have
products.
some input on that. Yeah.
So have you gotten some? Have you received anything yet?
So
or-
let's go ahead and back up.
Yeah, explain this
Give
to
us
people.
the-
Yeah.
So if you never buy equipment, if you just go to a gym somewhere, you probably don't even know about this. Like, it wouldn't be all that relevant to you. But Rogue Fitness is obviously a huge company out there in the market. Everyone's going to know about them. And they sell a ton of equipment. I can't even imagine how many $1 million worth of equipment they sell a year.
And it's everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not just barbells. They're not just. They are about anything you would ever need for your
Right.
gym.
Strongman, CrossFit,
Weightlifting,
powerlifting.
And they're also some of the stuff they manufacture, some of they have manufactured, but they are at their heart a like steel manufacturing company.
And they're based out of Ohio, Columbus, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
And they're kind of like the industry standard almost at this point. They've grown that much, like that quickly within the fitness industry.
We've at this point have gotten several things in the gym. We've got to use them, and I think
top-notch,
I think every time we've been very impressed with the actual product.
Yes.
It's always been like, yeah, they know what they're doing here.
Considering they are Rogue is significantly less costly than some of the other stuff when you get into the IPF. You know what I mean? When we're talking the barbells,
the
caliber
stuff that
plates,
is very expensive,
Yep.
generally from anyone,
they're
reasonably
better.
priced
Yeah.
usually. Yeah.
Now, on the things that Rogue is the most expensive on, however, things like the straight up steel manufacturing stuff, like we're talking squat racks, pull up rigs, like all those types of things. Rogue, like the Rogue rig, is legitimately nearly identical to the one I have in my gym, and 3 times the cost of the one I put in my gym.
And when we say 3 times the cost, we're not saying 3 times the cost of an $800 investment.
No, like mine was like $2,000, and if it was Rogue, it would have been almost 6. And it's the same thing, which I would love to have been able to support American manufacturing, but if I can't, you know what I mean?
That's what they can hang their hat on, though.
Yeah.
Is that it's an American-made product with everything. I don't know if every single thing they produce is all American
in
sourced. In
general, I would say that now Rogue normally also is really built on their really good like customer service and all that stuff. However, my experience hasn't been anything that's going to wow me. Anything I've done from Rogue, it's actually sometimes has been much less than ideal. So like,
I've had sassy customers.
Yeah, you've had like bad ones.
Yeah.
And I a couple years ago, it was always, that was the thing that set them apart. And maybe they stand behind their stuff better than others, and maybe that will show its head with time. But like the interaction was not pleasant, really, for me. Not enough to make me do business with them over anyone else at my own expense. So, but I'm not here to shit talk Rogue. They make really good stuff.
They do. Yeah.
I was actually I went and I benched the other day on that Ohio Power Bar that we've got, and that's a fucking joy to bench on.
Yeah, that's a really nice bar.
I have never ever benched on a bar and went, ooh, like I really, really, really liked the feel of that bar. And it's for me, I don't experience that benching really, where I'm like, ooh, look at this fucking thing. Bench is the thing to me that I would say the bar I have the least.
Where it matters.
It matters at least to me on.
Yeah. So to sum this up, our quick takeaways from Rogue would be kind of the gold standard on a lot of things.
Quality's top notch.
Quality is top notch. Can be fairly decently priced depending on the thing. Can also be very overpriced on the thing too.
Yeah.
But this brings up the whole next part of the discussion here is that we have kind of a new competitor entering the arena.
And is it Titan Fitness? Is that like the technical company name?
That is it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so, where did you hear about Titan Fitness first?
I guess Garage Gym Reviews is a page I follow on Instagram, and he does a lot of product reviews, so he's always putting out whatever Titan Fitness is making, and he's been doing that for a while, but I don't know how long they've been around, but they're certainly making more and more of a surge.
What they're doing, they're expanding their line of offerings a lot. So they're getting their hands into a lot of different markets now. The interesting thing, when I first heard of them, was just that like they had like medicine balls were like a quarter of the price of the ones I bought, which are still less expensive than ones you're gonna get from Rogue. But I looked into it, so I had to look on the back end of things and go through some reviews. And what my understanding with Titan was, you got to know what's
good and what's not.
good and what's not. What you're gonna get, because you will get some absolutely incredible deals and really, really high quality stuff, and you may get something where you paid very little for it and it's probably worth very little. But as I've been looking through their stuff over the last few weeks, and I've been reading on them, little things like they're like their weight trees, like plate holders, there was some issues with some of them. One of them had a spot that was like free hanging. I don't quite know how to describe it on the air, and there was a couple of months where that was like the only concern that people had was the way this was assembled. And then after about a couple of months of that, all the new reviews were like, nope, they welded this part now. It's all it's all welded up. So they seem to be adapting their problems, responding pretty quickly. But Then they first got back on my radar with their logs,
Mm-hmm.
their steel logs, and selling them so fucking cheap with free shipping that
$122 for a 10-inch.
And
log.
and so the one thing is the price, but you kind of brought up another point there, Tyler. Is they've been offering is it free shipping on like everything?
Everything,
which
is free
that
shipping.
is when you first start talking about buying gym equipment. That is like the one expense you don't realize is that shipping stuff you pay based on the weight. So when you're buying stuff that is made to be heavy, you're paying a lot for shipping. So it's not unusual. Like, do you know when we bought that bench what the shipping price on that was?
Well, see some of that stuff, like when we bought the bench or the full set of calibrated plates, it's so big and so heavy that they don't even ship it normally. It's freight, like a special
So
a
it's,
truck.
like a semi
that comes,
will deliver
but
it.
So it probably costs like $150 is what you like. There's a cap because they're not just like, all right, here's 2,000 pounds worth of stuff.
Right, yeah,
like once it gets so heavy, then it probably shouldn't cost more than a couple $100, but that's still $200.
Yeah, it's because a lot of
you have
times
to
you
factor
buy
that into what you're buying.
It is definitely a big added expense, but like you said, Titan has this log for $125, which on its own is insanely cheap. What's the Rogue comparison there? Probably
$300 or $400.
$400,
yeah. So we're already like a third the price.
And you will
And
pay,
then-
you will pay shipping on
Yes,
fucking everything
yes.
from Rogue,
Yes.
like everything.
And Titan's shipping this for free, which it's like, how do they make money in that equation?
So I'm not positive now. I did some more and more looking into this. Titan has, as far as I can tell, 3 divisions. There's Titan attachments, which actually they make like skid loader attachments for like construction equipment.
Really?
Yeah, and everything you could imagine. Forks,
All
for
steel
forklifts,
stuff.
all steel stuff. And so I think similar to Rogue, like there's what they probably manufacture, except for overseas. They're just doing steel metal fabrication over there. Then there's Titan ramps, which is, I'm assuming, guys, that they probably make ramps. Yeah, just like aluminum utility ramps for everything you could possibly imagine.
Get your motorcycle. in the back of your
Motorcycles,
pickup.
4-wheelers, this little shit. So, but they're also now tied in with Amazon. And I had heard that Amazon might have a fair amount of stake in Titan. And that's why they're able to,
Get that buying
because
power.
Amazon doesn't need to make money on everything. Sometimes they're able to take a loss on some products because that's a way of buying market share. So I don't know that any of that is true, but what I do know is my wife ordered that 10-inch log. I wanted to get a 12. I want to get a 12 for myself, but that fucking thing came back, sold out. 2 weeks later, came back, sold out like in hours.
Yeah.
And so, but my wife got the 10-inch log.
And what's that thing weigh?
75.
Okay.
Unloaded, and it is fucking good. It is really, really, really good. It's cool. The actual handles are a little bit wider than maybe what you're used to. Have really high quality knurling on the handles, even so it's not just a straight or powder coated bar. Really, really cool. So the log, I really dig.
And it
really
seems to
dig
be,
that.
and it's holding up good and everything.
Yeah. And we've only had it for a few, she's just taken it for a whirl a few times. But then I've had my eye on their yokes, and I didn't know that they were going to make yokes until Garage Gym Reviews. Follow Garage Gym Reviews on Instagram, by the way. You want to know what cool equipment's out there and what's good and what sucks. They're out in front of everything. So he posted something on like Monday or Tuesday saying, Titan's going to have these yokes for sale, and they're under $300, free shipping. I was like, what the fuck? And it looks exactly like the Rogue.
Literally,
Side by side.
they made the pins they made the pins red that looks exactly like Rogue's yoke, and there's a slant underneath the crossbar that Rogue makes where they have a cutout R in the steel, and Titans has a cutout T that looks like the same
It's
thing.
like the same font.
Yeah.
And then they did so on that same post now, I was scrolling through there, and some person chimed in and said, "Oh, that's a pretty cool design." And then I just figured nothing of it, but there was like a bunch of comments underneath it. And then I looked back, and it was the guy from Garage Gym Reviews said, "Hey, we'd love to get a background on your company, see how you guys feel about some of this new competition." So I clicked on who that guy was. That was the owner of Rogue Fitness, who chimed in and said, "Oh, that's a pretty cool design because
Yeah,
it's fucking
he's
our
being
design."
sarcastic, yeah. Well, I wondered that with that yoke, especially because that yoke literally.
No, they said it's identical. I was
Yeah.
looking through some of the specs today. I ordered 2 of them when they came up for
Well,
sale.
they're $300. Rogues would be $600 plus shipping or
Each.
whatever. Yeah.
And so, but we're talking like the regular 2-inch hole spacing on the deals that has the west side hole spacing and the bench range of motion range. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty purposefully constructed, and like, so I'm stoked for it. But so I looked at that and I was like, shit, I need to figure out, because if these sell out as fast because I need them for my gym pretty bad, and so I was like, I got to get in on this. So I set up like a purchasing account through them, and I fucking emailed them like, hey, like, can I prepay for these if they're going to come out this week? Like, I'll pay right now as long as I can, and I'll buy 2 if you guys can just save one for me. And their response though was like, well, we're not gonna prepay them, do any prepay offer for them, and they said, and we're not sure when they'll be available. We're thinking like early 2018.
Ooh.
And then fucking 2 days later,
They were available.
my wife texts me and goes, hey, those yokes are on Titan. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I went through then and I bought 2 of them there.
I wonder if someone just found a few laying in the warehouse or something.
Well, there's a lot of them because they're still not sold
Oh, they
out.
are? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not sold out yet. And I bought it within seconds because I know how fast the logs went.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll have 2 of those.
I'll be curious to see like if anything happens with Rogue on their, if they feel that there's like any infringement, if they have any sort of
My
patent on their
understanding
design,
is
or
it's currently Rogue's yokes are patent pending. I don't know what that means. You know what you can and can't do, but whatever, they ain't gonna take mine. So
Huh. Crazy.
yeah, so I ordered that and a bunch of plate storage from them, which is their goal. You know, maybe
yeah,
they'll lose a little money on the yoke and get me to buy some other shit. But
Yeah.
they
But that type of stuff is super, super cheap.
Yeah,
There. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to beat. And if it comes to the same quality as the log that I've got, I'll buy everything that I can if I can, like, validate ahead of time the quality.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if the quality, like I've heard some people say like some of the welds, they stand up just as well, but they just like have a rougher appearance to them or stuff or something like they make a,
Like, there's not, like, perfect weld beads.
right.
Yeah.
And they make a Husafil stone
Oh.
and it's much cheaper than what you would buy from.
It's like $140.
Yeah, it's $180.
Yeah, something like that.
But what people say in the reviews is it's holding up well and everything, but you just like literally need to like grind off a couple of, there's like some rough edges on it that will just like physically hurt you. But if you just smooth
For
them
half the
down,
price,
yeah,
just knock
right,
them down and-
right. And the other thing they say, I read this on some reviews for that Husafil stone, is they say the shipping, it looks like it got sent into orbit, re-entered Earth, and landed on his doorstep. And he's like, the product itself was basically fine and everything, but it just looked like someone had like run it over with a semi.
I will say our log showed up perfectly packaged and taped up and still in cardboard box and everything. But I read somebody got theirs showed up with a shipping label slapped on the log. And that was it. Yeah. So like, they came home and there's just this log with a fucking FedEx
scrap
label
metal.
leaning against the door. But I'm stoked for mine. I'll be happy to give a review. I mean, if the quality holds up, I'm just looking forward to. Now we have options because they're identical. We have options for like a fucking one-on-one yoke race medley thing we can do at Strongman or something next year. You know, it gives us some cool things to play with.
The price is so much cheaper. Like that's why. It's hard, you know.
It's hard not to.
I like the purchasing American-made products also, but it's tough when the price is that far. There's that much of a discrepancy. I wonder if Rogue will ever, if it could ever, they could ever sell so many or cut into Rogue sale enough that Rogue would maybe reconsider some of their margins on some of their products. My guess is no,
or
but
maybe not spend $3 or $4 million a year making full-length fucking documentaries.
Well, and I feel like that plays a huge
And give
part of
some of
it
that
too,
money
though,
back.
because I think like that's Rogue's approach is that like look at all the money we're investing into the community, spotlighting people, and pumping all of this money into the Arnold and like making products and showcasing people and
there
getting this event
isn't-
special.
And I do think that Rogue's involvement in now the sport of strongman and them getting into powerlifting is what makes these things so much more appealing.
Oh, I think so too. Like, I mean, we left the Arnold talking about, did you see that Rogue video
Yeah.
of, I can't even remember, I think it was like Blaine Sumner or
Yeah.
something. And
It
we're
was like this cool
that
little
was so
highlight
cool.
thing. Yeah, we were on the plane. I was like, I don't know if I should be on this airplane with this erection right now. Yeah, go look up Rogue Fitness Arnold powerlifting or
Just
something like
anything that they
that.
have.
Yeah,
is-
anything that they put together from the Arnold is top-notch quality. But my question is, what's your product? You know, so I understand that as like a branding package, but it's weird to me that it's like, well, maybe you're way more expensive than you need to be. Stay in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because the thing too is like a company like Titan. If it works for them, you will see that happen. There will be many Titan Fitnesses that are going to come out there.
Yeah.
But if you do want to check it out, go to titan.fitness, which is also weird. It's not titanfitness.com. It's
Right.
titan.fitness.
And everything is free shipping. They do sell some bars and stuff too, but it's not like a large selection of that stuff. Like, whereas if you go to Rogue, there's 100 different bars
does
you
Rogue
can
have
buy.
100 barbells now?
Titan has like 3 different bars.
And
you
I
know,
have
so
heard that like their safety squat bar is no good.
I looked at it. Looks not
it
good.
looks-
Like literally, like from a picture on the internet, I can see it and be like, ooh, I don't know about that. You know, there's a couple. There are a few things that they have
But I'll
that you can just
actually-
tell you probably wouldn't
I
want to spend money on.
actually intend on buying from them their incline bench, wheeled, bench
Oh
to wheel
yeah,
out,
yeah. They make a knockoff fat pad.
Do they?
Too.
Yeah, but it doesn't even look like it looks like it's like vinyl. It's not even
Yeah,
like the sticky
no.
material.
They call it something similar though
It
too.
is
It's like
too,
the
yeah, it's like the
jumbo.
the thick pad.
Yeah,
or
something like that. Yeah,
uh,
because I've seen Donnie Thompson comment on that before too.
Yeah. Because and I'm sure because he's always
My
after that
thing,
of people
though, is
trying
fucking-
to rip
is like now that's a thing that Rogue does right, because Donnie Thompson's fat pad bench is fucking pretty respectably priced. And,
Yeah.
I mean, what was yours? $200?
Yeah, I think it's like $200
With the
Maybe-
bench.
Yeah,
mine
yeah,
was like
everything. yeah.
125 for just the pad.
Yeah.
And because I had benches laying around,
Yeah.
still totally worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reasonably priced product.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
it is.
In my opinion, don't fucking buy the Titan Fitness.
and-
Buy
And at
Rogue-
that point,
buy
you are
Rogue's fat
supporting
pad.
the person that actually thought of the idea, which is
That's a
kind of
little
the thing
different,
too.
too, yeah.
Is Titan going to be an innovator, or are they always just going to be waiting?
I
Are
have
they
a
always going to be
feeling
reactionary?
They're always going to be the.
And so
That's
that's
like
part of
their
it too. Is
strategy.
that,
They're just like,
yeah,
we'll just sit here, like you guys figure that stuff out, and we're gonna copy it.
Yeah, you spend the money on RG.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it in China.
Yeah.
And deal with it. So, yeah, it's interesting. Shady, it pissed me off. If I was Rogue, I mean, that'd be they're understandably upset. But if you want to support American-made stuff, buy Donnie Thompson stuff from Rogue for sure. Pioneer, always go to Pioneer for your belts.
Yep.
But
See, that's where I'm torn because I really like Matt and Pioneer, so that's what I would when it comes to buying a belt or something like that, I'm always going to would give him my money. But like with this fitness equipment thing, it's kind of like Pioneer is made in America and so is Rogue, but like we've met Matt before and stuff,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that adds like another, and like Matt is the face of Pioneer, so
Yeah.
it's like, well, I'm supporting that guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than
Yeah.
just American made too. It's like this guy that's really passionate about it and upfront about it, whereas Rogue is like a big, even though they're American made, they're almost like a
and Pioneer.
this ambiguous like
Yeah.
group of something that's
Right.
Rogue has become now like the Death Star of
Yeah,
fitness. It's
yeah.
like, you hear the marching of the, like when Darth Vader walks in every time
Right,
Rogue
right.
shows up. But I think it will be really interesting to see how it goes. But like with Matt at Pioneer, if you really look at it, they're not twice as expensive.
no,
No,
they're
they're
cheaper
not.
than some.
Yeah, a lot of
you know,
times, yeah.
they're right in the market
so
on
like
everything.
you can spend a lot of money at Pioneer if you
Yeah.
want some custom stuff. Like my belt that I got from them though, beautiful fucking white leather, just black suede inside, totally plain. I think that belt was $80.
Yeah, if you're not the expenses in the customization, and,
Yeah,
and
like
that's,
my belt was $80, and I think if you went to like a shitty store and got a shitty plain Jane leather one, that you might spend $50.
probably,
and it's probably
yeah.
not made of leather either.
No,
Right.
and like mine is pretty to look at. You know what I mean? Like I do like it
Yeah.
a lot, a whole lot.
and it'll last forever.
Well, Ryan's belt is like the ultimate testament of he has that 10mm red single prong belt, and when he first got that thing was getting used by probably 5 to 10 people a week,
daily,
multiple times a day even, and like I think he's had it almost 2 years now, and like that thing is still just like a perfectly fine belt. It's broken in, but it's like perfect. There's nothing to change about it.
Another product that Rogue sells that I would recommend buying if you're going to buy it, that we have bought because it's cheaper than the alternatives, is their calibrated kilogram powerlifting plates. Because it's the cheapest option that there is, and it's
you're looking
exactly
at
the same.
$2 a poundish.
Yeah, versus 4 to 5 for
Eleiko.
Yeah,
all those.
Yeah. So, but they're the cheapest in the market in that case.
Yeah. Is that American or is that somewhere else?
Is
Certainly doesn't sound.
yeah. Is
Yeah.
Eleiko Swedish? Or
I think they're
Lyco's from Sweden. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sweden and Vanco. I don't know, but they're expensive. I know that.
Yeah.
I can either look it up or we can just make it up.
Nah.
Ivanko, the Greek manufacturing company.
I don't know where it is. What?
Hey, Siri.
That's one of those things that nobody will ever know.
Well, and they don't
Hold
do
on a
anything
second,
as far as
guys.
branding.
Let's do the listen. Hey, Siri. Bitch. What the hell? Going back to the Android. Am I doing something wrong here?
Do you have that function turned off?
I doubt it. I'm sure. I've never turned it off. Now I got to type like a homeless person.
Oh God.
Do you
Ivanko
use Siri on your phone?
I don't. I do not.
I
Plus,
only
my
do
phone
it
is-
I only do it if I'm screwing
Well,
around.
and my
Yeah.
phone is starting to get like not working the best, so it'd probably just fight me the whole way.
Yeah.
Touch ID is like, I mean, now a 30% success rate on my phone, so even charging is
Your thumb thing.
yeah.
I can't tell if that's because that technology sucks or that my thumbs are pretty greasy.
Well, I think that's part of it, and my phone's 3 years old. Like even charging, we're getting to the point where we got to keep like the charger perfectly
yeah.
positioned in for the
Yeah.
charge to take and
Yeah.
hold. So there's a lot of mornings I wake up and realize, oh, my phone didn't do any
I noticed
charging last night.
on mine, I have to just get a paper clip and do a lint clean out of the
Oh, do
charger
you?
hole because
Yeah.
there gets to be a lot of lint in there, and then
Yep.
the charger doesn't
wanna go.
stick in
Yeah.
quite far enough.
Well, and my phone's actually starting to separate on the end. You can squeeze it, squeeze that corner there. You can feel it. Squeeze it. Yeah.
That
So
would that would make me nervous. I don't know why it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Type.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's what 3 years of wear and tear will get you, I
Yeah.
guess. Tyler, you got an answer for us in the research department there?
There was some. I'm thinking there. Ivanko's USA.
See, that's what I thought I
they
ran
are.
across is that they are, but you just
But I'm seeing things that are weird. See, everything that says USA, it goes back to Ivanko Barbell Company, and I just don't know if that's what. You know what I mean? If that's like
That's what it is.
If that's
Yeah.
one branch that they
Yeah.
keep here so they can say it, but I don't know. I will give them credit. Ivanko, made in USA.
look at that.
Would you just
We
look
had
at it?
some record-breaking stuff going on this week.
Yeah, actually, for the world of powerlifting, this was probably one of the more exciting weekends of the year.
Yeah.
With the craziest one being Yuri Belkin, who
Big
we
fan
seem to
of-
talk about
big
this,
fan of the podcast. Yuri
who we
Belkin.
seem to talk about pretty regularly on the podcast, but he just seems to
Yuri
be pushing
in-
things more
in
than
what
most
I
people.
think is his 18th competition since May.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably about right. Probably his 50th in the last year.
He's just like peaking for meets every
Yeah.
other month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of makes you like wonder, like if he just didn't do them all the time, would he get stronger even? But it seems to be
Whatever,
working
it's
fine
working.
for him. Yeah,
It's like if you're like one of, I mean, questionably the best that there ever was at a thing. Like, it's hard to nitpick the process.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We're just gonna give it. We're just gonna give it
Yeah.
to him.
yeah. But this was at the, I think it's in Russia, isn't it? The WRPF meet,
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
the World Raw Powerlifting Federation, and it's one of those. It looks like they have the full live band in the background that just
yeah.
is just.
What was that one a while back? There was.
I think
That
it was.
was
I think it was. Yeah, it was a
WRPF, wasn't
WRPF.
And
Yeah.
there's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Fuck,
the
that
whole
was
time
great.
they just have it's basically like a metal band, but they're like kind of have to treat the evening like they're a jam band where it's like they kind of go into their song, but then as soon as someone's coming out for an attempt, it's like the guitar goes into like riff mode and it just chugging along. the minute someone sets the bar down, it's just like everything's going again.
I couldn't figure out too. Did they have to be stopped playing?
No,
when
they stay. They keep going on
Okay.
all
I'd be
these.
like, well, they seem to be more subdued though, right? Like,
yeah. Like the whole band will it'll basically go like there might be just like seriously a guy just kind of keeping a guitar riff going.
Yeah.
There might be maybe like a slight something percussion, but it's way down. And then the minute the lift is completed, whether it's good or bad, the whole band comes back in again.
Smoking.
It is. But Yuri Belkin on this day, he had an 860 squat, a 496 bench, and a 970 sumo deadlift for a 2325 total at
27 pounds.
227 pounds, yeah.
So he's in the 242 weight class. He broke the 242 record by 100. The 242 total by 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's smashing it.
And I'm pretty sure that I can't remember who had the 242, if it was Larry Wheels or one of those guys. But but Yuri beat that by 100 pounds.
Yeah. He just smoked it.
Yeah.
And that also gives him the highest Wilks of all time, which is 634. And I think before this, I mean, I know before this it was Zahir,
yeah.
but I thought he had like in the 620s. And that was,
I know it was over 600 for sure.
and that was I want to say a year or two ago, but Yuri is killing it. The with any record, you got to look at it and check out the conditions that it was done in and everything. And if you had to be super critical, this is something I didn't realize until right before we were talking about this, is that a lot of those lifts he got on fourth attempts, or he had fourth attempts. So like his squat, for example, he missed he missed his opener. He missed it on his first attempt, second attempt, got it on his third. And then does everyone get a fourth attempt in this, or is it if you hit your third, you get a fourth?
Or world record scenarios, I think.
They give you a fourth.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Yeah, so then at that case, or at that point, he got his fourth, or he passed 370 kilos on his third attempt, and then because he passed 370, they let him take a fourth with 390. So at that point, he got another 44 pounds that the average person wouldn't have under normal meet. But probably the craziest thing is that his deadlift. What was his opener, Tanner? Was it like 9 or 890? It was
something. I don't know for sure.
It was way up there. It might have
Yeah.
even been 900,
Yeah.
which is the fact that 900 is an opener now is absolutely insane. And then his second attempt was that 970?
970.
So second attempt was 970. Looked pretty solid.
Yeah, beltless.
Beltless, yeah.
970 pounds.
And
no
so
belt.
from 970, did you say he passed his
He
third
passed
attempt?
his third and took his fourth.
And
I guess
took
it just gave him a longer break to try he tried 1,016 pounds
for a fourth.
For a fourth attempt.
Which that
with no
has
belt.
to be a first for a powerlifting meet ever, right? Has anyone called a 1,000-pound deadlift in a powerlifting meet before?
Andy Bolton, maybe.
Was that in a full meet though, or was
I
that
don't
a
know.
deadlift
That might
only?
be deadlift only.
See, I kind of thought all those
Yeah.
records, those like 1,000-pound deadlifts, were deadlift only meets.
I don't know if anyone's called it or not. Like maybe people have attempted it, and because we could go say put a
yeah, right.
Like what's stopping people from doing that? Like I'm gonna pass just like to piss off the plate loaders. Be like, put 1,000 on. I want the picture.
I actually thought about that at our strongman competition in Sioux Falls this last spring when I was like the second worst deadlifter there, and like everyone's going in putting in their openers, and I'm like, I'll start at like 425. And it was like, what are you fucking hurt, you big son of a bitch?
Yeah.
And then so after I hit my second one barely, I was like, maybe I should just go and call like 700 pounds just to push Dylan.
Just
to make sure that Dylan like puts, make sure that he bakes. Instead, he got to kind of just nickel and dime just above me. I could have really made him work, but.
And that 970 deadlift of Yuri's, it didn't break Kaylor Woolham's record because Yuri competed in the 242 here at 227 pounds, and Kaylor
was at 220.
It was at 220. So Kaylor still has the 970.
Yeah.
So Kaylor still has the
that 220 record.
The 220 record.
Yeah, but Yuri, he is an absolute deadlift phenom, but it's also the fact that he kind of is the total package.
Yeah.
He's smashing the total.
He totaled 2,300 pounds at Big Dogs, where you can compete at any weight class, and it's Dan Bell and those guys. The winner was 24 something.
Yeah.
Like he's within 70 pounds of could have win that competition.
And he weighs like 60%.
Yeah,
what those guys
150 pounds less than some of those guys.
Yeah.
Zahir was scheduled to lift at Big Dogs, and he didn't. And people had thought he was injured, but the reason he couldn't lift there is because he had visa issues. He couldn't get.
Really?
He couldn't. The country he lived in, they were trying to make him serve mandatory military service.
Oh.
And that factored into him not being able to get his
really?
visa to be able to go there. I thought that was
it from.
I don't even know if it's what country.
He's in now.
Yeah.
The one he was in.
Well, something like there was something
So there's
weird.
a red flag floating around.
Yeah, that he couldn't get visa clearance to go to Australia.
Jesus.
So I thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like just some guy wanting to power lift with some other guys. Like that's not a consideration for Eric Lillibridge,
Yeah.
living in America. But there's people other here living in countries that are trying to make you.
Let's be real. Like, Zahir's not going to be of much use to you in combat. I mean, you've got
craziness,
you've got.
He might be more
If
of a
you need that guy
distraction
to like
than
run
anything.
in screaming like la 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 la.
You've got trucks and tanks that can accomplish all the things you would want him to do.
Yeah.
That's funny. What other records were there?
I also, and I think this meet is still going on today, I believe. I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think they have a day 2. And I did see that they have a contest of 200 kilos for reps for bench.
Oh, okay.
So they're not doing like they're having some different things, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of cool. That like give the fans something to watch. Like
Yeah.
sometimes sitting there all day watching a powerlifting meet can get a little boring. So throw in a 440-pound bench press competition for max reps and
Right.
see what happens. I saw one that had a guy, he did it like, I think he got like 14 reps or something.
Jesus
and
Christ.
it's like, who are these people?
Oh.
But even speaking of that, Larry Wheels completely crushed. Like,
Jesus.
what was it? Was it 700 or 630?
660.
Is that what
660, whatever. I can't remember what it was now. But his bench is insane.
Yeah, he is insane.
He is a freak.
Another thing, Half Thor was
Oh.
training with.
yeah, we were
Sirchef.
talking about this. He is up to something.
Yeah, he
Half
went.
Thor-
There's half those videos look more and more and more like powerlifting.
Well,
videos.
and he went to go and was trained. He was there for some. I don't know if it was a Game of Thrones thing or something,
Yeah.
but he went and took time out of his trip there to go train with the best bench presser of all time.
Yeah.
He was getting tips on the bench press when he was
Which
there.
he
would
does
assume.
not need tips on the bench press for his sport.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For strongman, he does not need to go work with one of the best
Yeah.
powerlifters.
And that also puts it into perspective. I don't know how you say it. Is it Kirill Serchev or whatever?
yeah, it's
It puts into perspective how massive he really is.
he looks bigger than Thor.
I
in
think
some ways.
his upper body, his arms, I'm pretty sure are bigger. His shoulders, he is massive.
Yeah, and you really realize that when he stands next to Thor, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's just like if you saw that picture, you'd be like, yeah, those are just two guys that probably work out. And then when you put another person in for perspective,
Yeah.
you'd say, oh, these people eat people.
Yeah, it's crazy how big Sirchev is. Like I
Yeah.
knew that he was big, but seeing him with Thor like that really was shocking.
I talk to people all the time who don't know who Thor is outside of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So so the question is always like how big he really is. They're all surprised that he even does strength sports. But then I was showing a couple people yesterday like pictures of me standing next to him, and it's like, guys, I don't think you have any idea how big this person
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Because people look at me like I'm a giant, and I'm like a fucking child next to this dude. And so that's always the litmus test. It's like, oh, you think I'm big? Look at this.
Yeah.
fucking guy.
How does Tyler look next to someone?
Yeah.
And even just talking on the subject of big lifts, that Steffi Cohn, is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She has been
Five-
killing it too.
525, right?
25 at
Yeah,
100,
She weighs
deadlift.
what?
123.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. There's just some weird stuff going on in the world of deadlifting right
Well,
now.
and I saw a few people sharing Yuri's post, making comment like that, like right now is the craziest period of strength feats, and they think like it's just going to continue. Like people's people's perception of what actually is
because
strong is just going to continue to get blown.
Yeah, because there was forever. Oh, not forever, but there was, a long time. Ed Cohn kind of had that market corner as kind of being just the greatest deadlifter of all time, and you could still probably kind of give him that title. Like the conditions that he did it, first to do it, like, yeah, he is absolutely amazing. And then it just seemed like there was a long time where there was people in the 800s and maybe like that 900 mark.
Yeah.
And like even until like about 2 years ago, like that was the mark. It was like 900. Like George Lehman was chasing that forever, and there was all these guys there. Then you kind of had these outlier ones with like your Andy Bolton, your Benedict Magnuson or whatever. There was whether that was were straps or different conditions or suits. And there was some still amazing lifts, but kind of different than maybe your standard powerlifting meet. And then now all of a sudden, 2017, the deadlift is it's like turning into a joke.
Yeah. Now Yuri deadlifts 970, so for Kaylor Woolham, it's like, well, what are you gonna do now? Like,
but I don't doubt that he could get there sometime.
I agree.
It's just the fact that these guys are at the top of their game and they're still
young,
like improving like 10% over the course of a year. Like I would take a 10% improvement on myself over the course of a year, and that's nothing like what they're going through.
It's crazy to me that he doesn't wear a belt.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he wouldn't be better if he did wear a belt, or else he would.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's like, "Oh, look at me! I'm not even going to wear a belt."
Do 1500.
Yeah.
But
no, I think that's probably maybe he would do worse if he's wearing a belt. Yeah.
I think it's because he's so upright already that maybe it doesn't matter a whole lot.
To see him when he deadlifts that 970, it is pretty crazy. Like no normal human can
even move their body that way. Get into that position.
Right.
And that's kind of the cool thing too is with sumo, probably the two greatest right now are your Kaylor and Yuri.
Yep.
And very different body types.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Very different body types. And even the lift itself looks pretty different to the two.
Yeah.
Like
they're two very different.
Like you wouldn't like if you were just
Yuri's
trying to show
Yuri's is a jump.
It's just
upright.
it's so straight. Yeah, it's just. But if you were like trying to explain someone how to sumo deadlift, you're like, I'm gonna show you the two best in the world. They'd be like, but they don't really look the same.
Yeah,
Like, so what am I supposed to do? And it is just like knowing your leverages and figuring out how to make it work best for you. And they got that down
for sure.
There's another Blaine Sumner just posted this earlier today. Bench only world record female Rhea Stin. How many is this? She's a 72 kilo lifter. So what is that? Like 150 pounds?
Yeah,
something like
155.
Motherfucking phone, you guys. I'm working on it. Just benched, I think it was like 394, which hurts my feelings.
So she weighs like 150 160 pounds. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that makes me want to quit benching. Because the only way I get better at benching is just by being heavier. I'm going to put on 10 pounds.
That's the easiest way to get better at it.
It is definitely the easiest way.
Yeah.
It's easier than benching a lot.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember what else I had out there. I think that might be it. Probably.
We taught you guys a lot today.
We did. You got some economics,
when
some
we come into a podcast with this firm and
script,
well laid out plan like we did this one. Everything just flows,
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to the guys, Mike and Doug from Barbell Shrugged, and they were like, oh yeah, it was a huge game changer as soon as we started mapping out the shows, ahead of time the way we wanted to do it. And I was like, there's no fucking way we're ever doing that.
No.
It's just not the way ours goes.
We map it out in the way of like, hey, is there something we could talk about?
What's going to come out of our mouths right away when we start talking?
Yeah.
basically.
That's it. Get that locked in.
I don't think we'd want it too mapped out. No, then it's a different.
Also, because
whole different,
we're not here to. I mean, there's only so much we can teach.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, and actually,
Right.
you know what, you guys, we did forget maybe the most important thing, talking about 2017 and how it really, truly is a crazy year for deadlifts. Tyler, you got to throw your hat into this conversation now.
Finally, I got to a grown-up number. I actually hadn't deadlifted in a really long time, so I went to I've been having to go to Massenomics to train. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but I'll go to Massenomics to lift now instead of my own gym because there's just way less distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least at Massenomics, the distractions, there's like Big Shane.
Yeah.
But I don't have like people coming in like soliciting me or wanting my business to sponsor shit. And it's just like,
Yeah.
there's just nothing. It's tough to be productive, in that environment. And so I've been going down to Massenomics, and I decided I was going to deadlift on Thursday or Friday, and just kind of started moving. Things felt good. My goal was really only to build up to like a heaviest triple the day, but I took some bigger jumps than maybe I should have, but I felt pretty good at I did 495 for 3, and I was like, okay, so, I'll move up. Maybe let's stab at some singles, because I was like, I know I could probably for sure hit 565, which would have been a PR. So I was like, let's throw that on. Did that, and I was like, well, I don't know, 6 plates sure seems pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was gonna do, and then I was like, yeah, but 585 is such a weird number. Like 600 seems like a good number, so I did that.
So you didn't do 585 in between?
No.
Yeah.
No, I basically went from 495 to 560, and then.
Well, that's a good call as long as you get it, and then
6.
if you miss it, it's a bet, and then you're like, God damn it, why didn't I do
right,
585?
because I could have had 585 something about it.
Yeah.
But I was pretty happy about it. The cool thing about it is I haven't been deadlifting a lot. I've been like just working on like trying to be braced better and hinging better, and I've been doing a lot of like snatch, grip, deficit stuff just to try to like stay tight and not squat. I still squat a lot, but like not totally squat my deadlift, because that'll put a ceiling on my deadlift pretty quick. And so anyway, I haven't had to beat myself up by deadlifting really heavy all the time, and it still went up. So that's
all that matters.
Just address my mechanics and not like run myself into the ground. But now I'm kind of excited, because I'm like, okay, now I want to get back into lifting really, really heavy again. Now that I feel pretty good now, like the elbow thing is coming around, and knee's been sorting out a little better now. I was like, all right, I think we're ready to start piling on some weights. So, no, it's been a long time coming. And if I do the math on it, it's a lot of weight I've put on my deadlift since March. It's 125 pounds in 7 months.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I was a really deficient deadlifter. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, that was not good. So, sometimes you just have to really embarrass yourself in front of other people.
It gives you
and
the motivation you need.
I'm not going to go up there and fail at 475 at my size. Just can't do that anymore. So now I'm on the road to the first 1,500 pound deadlift.
You got to set goals.
At this rate.
At this point, it's stupid to set goals in 100-pound increments like the average person.
What are we
That's
talking
true.
here? 5 years, I'll probably be there, right? If
Yeah.
I keep putting on 125 pounds every 7 months.
Yep.
70 months.
The math adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just map it out on
I
the
think
calendar.
that's how getting stronger works. It's just this fucking up arrow that goes on forever.
Yeah, we could pretty much circle a date and know what day you're going to do this deadlift at.
Yeah, we could Tanner spreadsheet this thing. Let's fucking do this. No, it was cool. I was excited about it. So now I want to get back to lifting heavy more frequently again. Now that I feel good, I'm all recovered from the 2 strongman competitions in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, no. My bicep isn't, so
It's no good.
yeah. I mean, it's getting better. It is still, I can tell my bicep's getting better all the time, but it's not, I can't do.
And the shoulder's still a shit show.
Yeah, that's,
You think that's just the way it's going to be?
well, probably until I have surgery on
die.
it. But I'm waiting until, pretty much. I'm waiting until 2018, and I might look into surgery options then,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Because
When you have your fake tits put in.
well, it's
You're already going under the knife. So.
You got me put under.
with a high deductible insurance plan. I could also teach everyone about insurance plans.
I
a
would
little
also
bit.
like to say, with high deductible insurance, you might as well just plan on
The
never.
plan is piling everything into
Yeah.
don't take care of anything until you take care of
Yeah.
everything all in one calendar year,
Yeah.
because the cost is going to be significantly lower.
Yeah.
Yep. Really, really getting stiff by the system on this one.
Yep.
So, well, I think that'll do it for us today. Any big news? What do we have anything new in the store yet? Bottles should be there soon.
Yep.
Any minute now. Literally any minute now. So go to Massenomics.com. There you'll find the store. That's where you're going to find Tanner's hat. Trying to go through things what we're wearing.
Shirts like yours,
You're
only
gonna
in
find
different colors.
Tommy's hat, Tanner's hat, shirts like mine in different colors. You will not find Tanner's shirt.
Well,
No, so we get the VIP package.
yep.
Also, go to youtube.com/Massenomics. Make sure you click subscribe. Share some videos. Unless you think we're ugly, then don't tell anybody about the videos. Then, where are we at? Facebook. Do the Facebook thing. Massenomics on Facebook. And email us at getbig@massenomics.com for all official Massenomics business requests. If you want to give us money, sponsor stuff, send us equipment to try. That's kind of our new favorite thing. So, if you want to send us some shit, you want to let people know that your equipment's the bomb,
We will put it through the ringer.
we will put some strong dudes after it and make it look cool. So, but that'll do it for us today. I'm Tyler. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler F. Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. And Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
Tanner.
The Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Stay strong.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.